Ever notice the similarities between the openings of Far Cry 3 and Far Cry 6? In both games, the protagonists find themselves sneaking away from enemies in an attempt to escape. They are both discovered by the big boss who tries to kill them. However, they manage to survive and find themselves armed with the knife before acquiring a small pistol. It's understandable that Far Cry 6 took inspiration from Far Cry 3, a fan favorite. However, it would have been better if they did a different theme entirely, like they did in the other games before this one. What's going on, people? My name is Max and welcome to Screen TV Magic. Now, should you buy Far Cry 6? That's what we're gonna find out today after this video. Or maybe you're just wasting your time. Although the other games have been successful in their way and building their fan base, I can't deny the other stuff I heard about Ubisoft. I mean, it's true that Ubisoft is making their franchise for everything they're worth. Look at Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I know, right? It's bad. Even though it uses the same formula with the new shiny graphics, they messed up the mechanics so badly that some people think it's not worth playing unless you're going to do a YouTube video like I'm doing. In this case, they would have just been better off just remastering Far Cry 3 with these graphics and call it a day. Trust me, Ubisoft, it would have been successful. Look at what Capcom is doing with their Resident Evil titles. Speaking of Resident Evil, check out my video on Resident Evil 2, the remake. It's nice. In 2027. My god, I can't believe I actually said that. So is Far Cry 6 just a rehash of Far Cry 3? Not entirely, but does it justify the full price tag? Here's a breakdown of the pros and cons, coming up after this intro. Far Cry 6 takes players to Yara, a fictional Caribbean island ruled by the Iron Fist of Anton Castillo, played by Giancarlo Esposito. I'm sorry if I butchered that name, I always get this guy's name wrong. Anyway, you play as Danny Rojas, a customized character, a guerrilla fighter drawn into revolution against Castillo's regime, a charismatic villain, a tropical paradise corrupted by violence, and an underdog protagonist, which is almost the same formula used since Far Cry 2. Only this time, Danny actually has a choice to leave all this behind and start a new life. If you don't know the secret ending in this game, Danny takes a boat and sails to the beaches of Miami. Come to think about it, in Far Cry 3, Jason and his friends sail on a boat to escape the island at the end of the game. That's if you choose the other ending, of course. The one where you don't give your girlfriend another hole to breathe in. Where did I hear that line from again? Anyway, Yara offers a vibrant, diverse landscape, from the lush jungles to the bustling cities. However, the beauty is exposed with brutality of Castillo's regime. I bet one of the developers at Ubisoft was playing Just Cause 3 and thought,
hey, we can actually do something similar to this. We build more jungles, better charismatic villain.
bruh. Some supporting characters like the eccentric mechanic called Philly Bazaga. I hope I didn't butcher that name. I did actually butcher that name. I'm sorry. And his adorable dog Chorizo provide humor and heart. But I like Juan Cortez. I see a bit of rivalry between him and Castillo for being charming and charismatic. But Juan is like your Dennis and Sabal in this game, but more chilled and cooler, you know? Now, let's talk about the gameplay. Far Cry 6 offers a vast arsenal of weapons to customize your playstyle, from making a makeshift guerrilla tools to high-tech weaponry. But I have to stress the amount of disappointment from Ubisoft. I hated when they give us something good in the previous game and then take it out in the next game. In this case, I'm talking about the ranking system mechanics in the Far Cry New Dawn. I understand that they wanted to make the game different from the other games, and that was like the whole identity from Far Cry New Dawn, but come on, they brought the workbench back for some reason, and the rehashed weapons from the game like the sword gun, but here they changed it to a CD gun. They could have just taken that ranking system and expanded on it. I would have liked to explore more of that on this game, with brand new enemies and a brand new story to explore, but they took it out. Instead, they give you guns you can use throughout the whole game. I mean, I finished the whole story mode with the same assault rifles. The only thing I kept switching was the launchers, because you can do that in this game without actually going back to the camp or attending to the workbench. Not to mention, the headshots were super easy in this game. I felt almost invincible in any situation like Doom. Anyway, there are some special backpacks that grant you unique abilities like temporary invisibility or jetpack. When I say temporary invisibility, I mean like this thing is like a full-on rocket launcher. This was a good thing they added since they added tanks in this game, because how would Castillo look like a dictator without tanks, right?
I was acting. Or was I?
And also, you have amigos, also called friends, of course. Animal companions, like a tanky crocodile or a stealthy panther. That adds another layer to the combat. But if you ask me, all you really need is the crocodile. That war animal that bites and munch on any guys. Animals actually stay away from you when it's around as well. Don't you dare use chorizo. That dog is cute, but and that's all there is. I'm not going against this dog, but dude, you're going against guys with big guns. You might as well use a scary predator that can withstand many bullets. It's not all bad in FarCry 6. Like I said, we have pros and cons, and let's start with the pros. The world is visually stunning, offering a beautiful yet oppressive atmosphere. They absolutely nail this aspect of the game. The graphics are amazing, boasting incredible detail, lighting, and atmosphere. The way lights bounce off the ground into the leaves creates a truly beautiful effect. Even the character models are amazing. You can see the emotions in their faces. They did a good job with the visual aspects of this game. If someone says they played it mostly for the graphics, I wouldn't be surprised at all. Another thing they got right is the variety of weapons and Supremo backpacks. That makes things easy, and that is actually good for you. The Supremo is like a big power, if I would say. When things get hairy, I mostly use it for the helicopters. If you can shoot it down, you can actually shoot it down with some launchers, but it's more effective with the Supremos. And the tanks, of course, which I think the developers included that for the players so they can take down the tanks, since they're unstoppable to actually face head on. Despite the dark setting, the game injects humor through characters and lighthearted moments. Plus, I love the small talk Stanley gives the players while they are hunting and scouting. It gives him or her, well, depends on what gender you pick Danny to be. I usually go for the female because I think it fits the game pretty well, and I think the devs meant for the character to be a female, and they threw the option for you to choose just for kicks, you know, since players like to actually craft their own characters. Now, we gave this game some props. Let's shit on it with some cons, even though I have been shitting on it the entire video. While some find the villain Castillo captivating, I criticize the overall story as predictable and lacking the depth of previous Far Cry titles. The supporting cast can also feel underdeveloped to an extent. I mean, you can see the story where it's going from a mile away. Here's a dictator. Kill him. End of story. You have poisoned Yara! You have poisoned your sword! The narrative, while having potential, doesn't quite reach the heights of previous Far Cry entries. Despite Castillo's charm and charismatic as a villain, his presence in the game feels limited. He interacts with Danny only 3 times, and only once does he directly address her. I may be wrong about that, but this dude feels like he's ignoring the player all the time, and yet you're the person who's causing the problems in his kingdom. The open world design feels very familiar to the previous Far Cry games, with similar activities like capturing bases, hunting animals, and clearing checkpoints. This can lead to a sense of repetition. That's what I meant to say. Which what they should have done is keeping the ranking system. I can't stress this enough. They should have kept the ranking systems in Far Cry New Dawn. I really enjoy taking down outposts over and over. Each time it gets harder because of the elite enemies, and I really wish they kept that in this game and made it better. The selection of vehicles feels somewhat limited and uninspired, especially when compared to the open world titles with more diverse and customizable options. The game struggles to balance its serious narrative themes and its over-the-top action and humor, leading to somewhat jarring and disjointed experience.
Okay.
So here's my final verdict. Should you buy Far Cry 6 in 2024? If you're a fan of the Far Cry formula and enjoy open world exploration with a decent amount of action, Far Cry 6 can be a fun experience. However, if you're looking for a groundbreaking story or a significant departure from the Far Cry titles before this one, you might be disappointed. I was disappointed because after playing Far Cry New Dawn, I felt like some pretty good aspects from that game, like they could have used some of it in this game, but they were not there. I wish they were included. I particularly like the ranking system and the difficulties of the outposts and enemies. It was very fun collecting animal skins and materials to craft more powerful weapons and then returning to the world to use them against enemies and those bloody monstrous animals. The only thing that was very underwhelming in that game was the story. The world and the gameplay had a lot to offer, which I actually expected in this game, but I was disappointed. Anyway, we have reached the end of our video, guys. In this case, I was going for a fun and also serious kind of tone in this video. Please comment in the comment section and let me know which one do you actually like. And I'm actually referring to my two videos that I recently made. Right now, one is showing on the left, another one is showing on the right. It had those videos like had different tones. Let me know if you guys think what works, and maybe I should do that from now on.
Or I'll just keep making more videos until you guys like and subscribe on my channel.
You're gonna love me.
For me, Max, see you in my next video, guys.